Well, we're ready for Pro Stock, round number 2.
Well, 25 years ago, around the time of A.J. Foyt's last visit here, the Top Fuel dragsters were running about the same performance as the Pro Stocks do now. Don Beverley from Chester, Virginia, and his Oldsmobile will meet up in this round with Butch Leal, long renowned for his starting line expertise out of Blacklick, Ohio. Leal with the Pontiac. Now, these are gasoline-burning automobiles. There's no fuel injection. They're big 4-barrel carburetors. They weigh 2,350 pounds. The engine limitation is 500 cubic inches. And the real research, development, and hard work for these teams happens in their race shops. They dyno these engines, mold them in, and come here and kind of run what they brought.
Beautiful start by Leo. Hasn't lost any of that starting line touch, but watch the horsepower on Beverly. Motor right by him.
It is Don Beverley. What a thrill for him to beat Butch Leal with a 743 to Leal 749. They had equal horsepower on the top end. Both ran 185 miles per hour.
Pro Stock competition, some of the closest racing that you'll find in NHRA drag racing. Up on the line, Larry Morgan, who is having a great race weekend at the U.S. Nationals as he's ready to take on Gary Brown.
And what a force Oldsmobile has become in NHRA Pro Stock drag racing. In fact, last year they won the coveted Manufacturers Cup. And we have another pair of them here. Gary Brown from Buford, Georgia, also the owner of Atlanta Dragway, the scene of one of NHRA's national events. And Larry Morgan of Newark, Ohio. Boy, I'll tell you, he should be wearing even a broader smile than that, because yesterday, in the final round of the Mr. Gasket First Pro Stock Challenge, it was Larry Morgan against Warren Johnson. Morgan was in the near lane, on the line, $50,000 to the winner, and it was Larry Morgan. There was total jubilation on the starting line. Car owner Bob Pinella and crew from California celebrating certainly Larry Morgan's biggest victory in their Oldsmobile Pro Stock. And celebrating as well was Larry's 2-week-old baby, Nicholas James.
Of course, as they say, that was all yesterday. Larry Morgan is back with all that erased. Now it is Brown that he faces. Morgan to the near lane, Brown to the far side.
Oh, and Brown gambled in the far lane. Left way too soon. There's a red light on the Christmas tree. Automatic disqualification. The second car across the stripe has won here in the second round and heads for the semis. Larry Morgan still undefeated at the U.S. Nationals.
Larry Morgan really has become a factor in this Pro Stock racing. Wouldn't you agree, Steve?
Absolutely. He heads up their engine development as well as driving the car. Boy, here's a man who's won 4 races, Bruce Allen in the Raren Morrison Beretta. And up against Bruce will be one of the real crowd favorites because of the uniqueness of the automobile. The only Dodge Daytona in all of Pro Stock racing, Darrell Alderman. And you'll remember that they won the Gator Nationals back in March of this year, the first Dodge to do so in about a decade. But, Paul, if you look at the elapsed times recorded so far, you'd have to give the nod to this man, Bruce Allen.
Well, Allen does come into this event as the #1 qualifier. It's the Chevrolet matchup against Darrell Alderman's Daytona. And there is a large Chevrolet contingent here as well, pulling for Bruce Allen.
And Darrell Alderman so many times his whole shot at his way to victory, second only maybe to Butch Leal. It is Alderman away first. Alderman making a race out of this. He might win it. No. By a spoiler on the front bumper, it is Bruce Allen 737 to Alderman 744. But an advantage of 4 hundredths off the starting line made it almost a dead heat.
And Steve, here at the starting line, well, we may just be seeing history in the making. On board with Bob Glidden. If he scores the win today, it will be his 75th. Unprecedented. Here, though, he still has to get past Warren Johnson.
Well, anytime you race Warren Johnson these days, you've got to know you've got a serious competitor in the other lane, running better than he has in a couple of seasons. Anytime you race Bob Glidden at the U.S. Nationals, well, he's been in the finals 12 years in a row. That tells you something.
Shouldn't surprise me. He just lives down the road. He can drive home at night, live at home, work in his shop. It's a perfect place for him.
And I'll tell you, he dearly loves this race, as we all do. Warren Johnson in the near lane. He has been tough as of late, and he loves to pick on Bob Glidden. These two do not get along on or off the racetrack. You're in the Ford Probe automobile. Glidden keeping it perfectly straight. Rusty Glidden cheering him on along with his brother Billy. And it is Bob Glidden going to the semifinals. A 740 at 186 miles per hour and a beautiful starting line lead.
So Bob Glidden marches ahead. Will we see some history made here today? Well, at the U.S. Nationals, the pairing for the semifinal round in pro stock will put Glidden against Don Beverley. Glidden will have his choice of lanes, and Larry Morgan will take on Bruce Allen. Allen will have that all-important lane choice at the U.S. Nationals.